Now this is a response to Razorblade Kenny.
Kenny? It's candy, 'cause I'm sharp and dandy, like razor blades and candy. Oh, that's a horrible catchphrase. I really must work on a better one. Well, he got my name wrong, but surely the rest of his observation of my video will be spot on. Alright, I really didn't want to do a response to this guy's response to me, but my subscribers insisted. So, fireinthedawn throws down the glove, and I accept the duel. Choose your weapon.
Yes, I have a sword. I like swords.
A sword? Oh, how perfectly befitting a white knight. Alright, and I'll choose a lightsaber.
Now, a response was put forward, and it was put forward by Razorblade Kenny almost, immediately. This was put forward to in a response to me when I came forward with my slogan, "Make pesky sexy," because I really think that the rhetoric needed to be transformed so that people who get uppity in defense of justice were viewed as good guys, and that Lady Justice quit being distorted into being a bitch.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Possibly because I am being distracted by the sword waving. You really should be careful with that thing. It's dangerous to play with swords, just ask Snake Plisskenist.
And instead became viewed as an icon. So I liked what she did. I liked what she did because she tried to reclaim the word pesky right off the bat so that people weren't able to use it against her. I really approved of this kind of, work because it's basically fighting, the triumph of glamour over substance. And that's what conservatism is all about at this point, It's all about glamour over substance.
What? I seriously don't even know where to begin with that. I've sat here, literally for 6 hours letting that sink in. In the meantime, I've had a chance to make a few more photoshopped pictures for an upcoming video. I tinkered with some software, watched a few videos by Subman USN, the sound of his voice relaxes me, checked my email, watched some videos of Christina Rad on mute while masturbating, she's kinda hot when she's not talking. Played some Grand Theft Auto, played some Far Cry 3, responded to some YouTube inboxes, voted on one of Femitiest Divine's polls. I swear every time I see her name appear on my comments or inbox it gives me that uneasy feeling like the Grim Reaper is standing over my shoulder. You can almost feel the icy cold fog rolling in. Masturbated again while watching some Critical G videos. Not that I was masturbating to him, just masturbating at the same time I just happened to be watching his videos. And 6 hours later, I don't have a comeback to your statement. I thought if I just gave it time, eventually I'd either understand what you mean, or at least have a really good comeback to such a stupid statement, but I don't. Congratulations, you are the first person to say something so fucking stupid, that I, a self-proclaimed comedian, have no fucking comeback to.
This video that he put forward, I'm not sure that I take issue with some of the stuff, his criticisms of the statistics. I need to watch the whole thing all over again and wrap my head around it a little bit. That's not where I take issue with his video. This video, right off the bat, the very first thing it does is launch into a strawman fallacy.
Oh god, you're one of those. That was number 4 of my 5 stupid things video I just made. Go watch between 7:43 to 10:13 at any rate. Do go on and tell me what the alleged straw man is.
Right off the bat, it's right off the logic train, because what he does is he goes, what about the men? This argument is a criticism of men. It has to be a criticism of men. All the feminists on YouTube are critics of men. This is not what she did in her video at all. She, later on in the video, pointed out that the slut walks and stuff were formed by, a group of people that were pissed off because of an officer and his comments and a bunch of, statistics that came out that he gets into criticizing. I don't know, in a bit, if I have any issues with those, you'll see a subsequent video of me criticizing his criticism of all of that. And that's another thing that I need to do. It reminds me of something. But right off the bat, he inserts the "what about the men" argument into the debate where it doesn't belong, and says that it's mostly women who do slut shaming, that men really generally don't comment on such issues. Right off the bat, that's a fallacy, because that's a distortion of Jen's argument that's being bayoneted there. He's doing this, again, to something that isn't there. It's a strawman.
Jab at me with that sword, will you? Take this, en garde. Alright, let's examine this part of your straw man allegation. You say that asking what about the men is a straw man. I know I have heard others like DualTime9901 and just many others call this a straw man argument for one reason or another. But allow me to assure you that asking what about the men isn't a straw man. You see, often when feminists begin their bellyaching about the horrible atrocities that women face, they are just cherry-picking bits of history, and completely ignoring the atrocities that happen to men, thus paint an inaccurate picture of how the genders are treated. Because I have to do this video within the 15-minute cap, I am just going to flash these examples on screen and you can pause and read, or skip it. I never said her entire argument was an accusation of what males do to females. However, I did point out that it was mostly a female-on-female behavior because I needed to clarify that. You see, with Jen, and many other feminists, they use vague language ripe with insinuations. They say society or people in contexts that have to mean males in order for their complaint to have validity. Besides, Jen and other dames on the channel, and feminists in general, do consistently mention how certain male behavior makes women victims, and males need to do more to white knight and protect them from other males. It is the constant portrayal of women as victims and men as victimizers. So I felt the need to clarify. Also, I wanted to point out the motivation for slut shaming from both males and females. You say I was apologizing for it. Well, I don't know about that, but certainly the behavior has a psychological mechanism, and thus it is not one of those behaviors in society that can be changed. You also claim in your video that you don't believe that social behavior is a matter of things simply being the way they are, and you believe they can change. Well, I hate to break it to you, but you're dead wrong. The overwhelming amount of human behavior is derived from our biology, a product of evolution, and isn't going to change. You must learn to push for society to change the behaviors it can, and not waste your time trying to change what we are biologically programmed to do. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can be at peace. And the bit about controlling males through their sexuality was a response to her bitching about women being controlled through their sexuality. And I tied that in with examples of Jen doing just that from other videos, and she and her fellow dames have done this often.
The second part that bothers me about this video is that it assumes the female mindset from a frame of reference from somebody who couldn't possibly actually understand the feminine mindset. And the thing is that a woman would be the best person to actually speak out on that particular issue.
I have a problem with this for two reasons. First, it breaks the illusion that men and women have the exact same brain and behavior and that it is society that teaches gender differences. And I am of course assuming that you personally subscribe to that school of thought. I however acknowledge that there are fundamental behavioral differences between men and women and that these differences are biological, not social. The second reason is that if men cannot presume to know the mind of women, then you must equally apply this to women and tell them they are not to assume the male mind. And good luck with that. It seems like another example of women being permitted to examine gender, and men being told not to discuss gender. And of course that's right up there with women holding men to standards, but women are not to be held to standards. Women casting judgment on men, but are not to cast judgment on women, and so on. Furthermore, after saying that I, assuming I'm male, really have no right to presume female motives for behavior, you're actually going to accuse me of a straw man? For serious and shit? That's a seriously weak argument.
And as a guy, I have an issue with female-on-female misogyny because if I don't say something about it, then I tear apart the notion that being nice is sexy in any capacity, and that
being nice isn't sexy. You know, when males come running to the rescue of a woman who is whining about men, this is called white knighting. The alleged motivation behind this is that a beta male is incapable of getting a woman by being the strong independent alpha, so he basically kisses a woman's ass. The sad truth is, these males seldom ever gain a woman's affection and is mostly used as cannon fodder. I made a handy-dandy picture explaining this rather simply. Even if by some chance you meant to say niceness in girls is sexy, your words in this video and in others has made it clear to me that you do want to be loved, and your motivation for being a white knight is crystal clear. Some men can hide behind plausible deniability, you can't. Whether or not the niceness is sexy comment was geared towards yourself. For women, everything about your white knight behavior says I white knight for women to demonstrate I am a nice guy, because I think women like niceness, and I want them to be attracted to me.
If you're a feminist, and you meet a straight man who claims to be a male feminist, he's trying to fuck you.
I have no idea if that woman is a feminist or not, she only made a few videos about random shit. And the fact you are waving around a sword while white knighting just adds insult to injury, if not because it's telling of how you subconsciously view yourself as a heroic knight coming to the rescue of women, then at least because it gives off the appearance of it to onlookers. At any rate, women are not attracted to nice guys. And women absolutely hate spineless cowardly beta males dripping with insecurity and neediness. The effort to kiss their asses via white knighting also turns them off. Oh, they'll use you for cannon fodder. They'll use your voice to push their political agenda, but they will not respect you. In fact, this woman, from those pesky dames, goes out of her way to mention that a good male ally white knight doesn't ask for a thank you, or expect to be respected for his white knighting. And whether or not she realizes it, she is also basically saying there is nothing wrong with viewing and treating white knights as the tools they are, no need to even feign compassion.
Right? These are the men that we need, and they don't ask for fucking cookies, they don't ask to be patted on the head and said, well done, you're such amazing allies. They don't need that. Like, why should they have that? And, you know, these are the men we need, right? Not the ones who are going to sit there and be like, oh, what about the men, guys? Or like, oh, look what amazing work I did, like, reward me. No. Like, no. They should be reminded that they shouldn't be upset by our anger, that they should be upset with what's making us angry and get out there and fight against that.
That's right. When a woman feels angry or sad, or scared, you, the white knight, need to jump into battle and do what they tell you to do, like an obedient little bitch, and you have no right to expect a thank you. Look man, my fans expected me to respond to your video and really tear you to shreds. But I can't give them that satisfaction. I'm not going to make fun of you any more than a bit of playful humor. I feel sorry for you. You want to be loved so bad. And here you are parroting the feminist rhetoric, being a white knight, in the hopes that some feminist sees your hard work, sees you crying a river of tears on their behalf, being a tough macho knight and standing up for their honor, will truly appreciate you and fall in love. It's sad, not because you have been reduced to being an ass kisser for affection, but because it doesn't work. And you're going to end up going to your grave sad and unloved. Look, here's a feminist, or rather an extremist, who doesn't consider herself a feminist but a femiteist. She's a good-looking gal, maybe you can white knight for her and her extremist agenda, and she'll thank you by realizing how sweet you are and falling in love.
Okay, so this will be fun. A man may be a misogynist if, 1, he pulls the knight in shining armor act and claims that he can save you.
Oh, I guess that is just one more woman who thinks males coming to the rescue are pathetic or deceitful. Dude, women don't respect ass kissers white knights / male feminists. There is a reason for this. And it has nothing to do with social conditioning. As with nearly all human behavior, it is derived from biological evolutionary instinct. I don't have time to go into much detail, so I'll just oversimplify. If you raise a pig, and you let it in your house, you buy it toys, give it a name, bond with it, you will not be able to slaughter it for food. So if you have a pig, and its purpose is to slaughter, you absolutely must distance yourself from any emotional attachment. White knights are pawns in their war, instruments, tools to be used for an end, not human beings to be loved and respected. Another way of looking at it is women instinctively want a strong dominant man. Being on your hands and knees groveling is the polar opposite of what Mother Nature programmed them to desire. Strong dominant males don't grovel at their feet.